Mexico's wake-up call that it had a problem with oil thieves came in 2010, when this horrific wall of smoke and fire was ignited along a 5-kilometer stretch of oil pipeline east of Mexico City by individuals reportedly attempting to steal oil, who'd inadvertently ruptured the pipeline, sparking this inferno through the town of San Martin Texmelucan. 28 people died on this day, 13 of them children. And in addition to several deadly fires triggered by oil thieves, have been dozens of oil spills after botched attempts to tap into oil lines that have contaminated rivers and local drinking water across Mexico. Most of these illegal oil taps said to be the work of two of the country's most notorious criminal organizations, the Gulf Cartel and Los Zetas, or the Z's. They're accused of stealing more than $1 billion in oil just this year alone from pipelines operated by Mexico's state-owned oil and petrol company, Pemex. CCTV recently traveled to what's considered ground zero for oil theft in Mexico, in and around the region of Monterrey in the state of Nuevo León, and the town of Reynosa on the U.S.-Mexico border south of McAllen, Texas, in the state of Tamaulipas, a region that, after Mexico's recent oil reforms, has been opened up for the first time to foreign energy companies for hydraulic fracturing, or fracking, for billions of dollars worth of shale gas reserves discovered here. Reserves that experts estimate are the equivalent to 60 billion barrels of crude oil, more than twice the total amount of oil that Mexico has produced by conventional means over the last century. This region, however, remains violently unstable, compelling the Mexican government to dispatch military forces here to ease the security concerns of international energy companies wanting to do business here. Presently, we find authorities investigating what they say was a botched attempt by the Zetas in late August of this year to steal oil at this pipeline site outside Monterrey. Several thousand gallons of oil, much of which spilled into the San Juan River, contaminating what is a key source of irrigation and drinking water for more than 5,000 residents here in the farming village of San Juan. As for clues to who's directly responsible, few, if any, residents in San Juan have been willing to tell authorities what they may know about members of the Zetas operating here. An unwillingness that comes as no surprise, considering it was here at the entrance of San Juan in 2012 when the Zetas dumped the decapitated bodies of 49 people believed to be interfering with their other non-oil related criminal activity. The Zetas, say authorities, then returned here to San Juan in August in an attempt to steal oil from the pipeline here running under a large citrus farm. Many residents fearing members of the Zetas may still be in the area. CCTV, with no police escort available, set out alone down the very road authorities say the suspected oil thieves used.
Okay, just tell me a little bit about this road or where we're going right now.
At the wheel is local Mexican photographer Diego MALO, among the first photographers on the scene after oil thieves fled the area.
This place is, I would say, like 1 or 2 kilometers off from the main highway.
So pretty hidden away.
Yeah, it's hidden.
Easy place to steal oil.
Yeah.
This is the exact place where the breach took place. This whole area, it was all black. So this is the creek right beside the pipeline that was breached. All that creek was jet black.
The oil seeped into these creeks, which then flow downstream right into the San Juan River.
Yeah, all the vegetation was covered in oil. They cut it down with the machetes. And they stick them in the black garbage bags.
MALO photographed cleanup crews pushing thousands of gallons of crude oil ashore, cutting down oil-soaked vegetation, bagging it all up, and filling these large containers with as much oil as they could recover. An effort still going on 2.5 months after the spill. Also going on is the search for the individuals behind this spill. The closest possible witness to the oil breach here is a tenant corn farmer living just 100 meters away. His name is Severiano, telling CCTV he was inside his home the night it happened, watching TV or sleeping when the oil thieves arrived.
No se oye nada. Yo me encierro, me pongo a ver la tele con lo mucho y ya me quedo dormido.
The bad news, he says, is the oil spill contaminated water for crops in the area. But on the other hand, he says, The cleanup effort has provided work for many people around here.
Por una parte perjudicó y por otra parte pues dice que pues les hizo bien a la gente, que anda mucha gente trabajando, los están ayudando con eso.
Approximately 300 local men have been contracted by Pemex to clean up this mess, none of whom feel comfortable speaking about the individuals who may have caused the spill.
Nosotros somos trabajadores, nos han contratado nomás para trabajar aquí, de eso no sabemos nada. ¿Trabajo para nosotros?
Ah, sí.
Sí, es trabajo para nosotros.
This Mexican soldier then tells CCTV, "We've got to leave the area."
Toda esta área está restringida.
Sí.
No está permitida la entrada a civiles, y mucho menos a camarógrafos y fotógrafos.
He escorts us to this field supervisor from Pemex, a guy named Victor, who tells us to contact Pemex headquarters in Mexico City with our questions. We did. One question concerning allegations that current and/or former Pemex workers are helping oil thieves. Allegations made by, among others, this high-ranking federal police official who agreed to go on camera with CCTV as long as we concealed his identity. Concealing his identity because state and federal police officers have been threatened by the Zetas for trying to stop them. For example, at one crime scene recently, the Zetas reportedly left this message, which states, "Next time, we will burn you inside your police trucks."
Mire, lo que pasa es que nosotros tenemos un grave problema. Sí. Si nosotros damos una entrevista, podemos hablar de varios temas, no solamente de la cuestión de la seguridad, pero si nosotros damos entrevistas, allá inmediatamente nos mandan llamar a México y nos castigan.
There are some who think that the Pemex workers are in on this, that they're working with the criminal organizations. They're either giving them inside information, or they're showing them where to go, or they're doing it themselves, or they're former Pemex people.
Yo creo que hay gente que ha trabajado en Pemex y sabe cómo funciona eso, porque no cualquier persona puede hacer ese tipo de trabajo.
He says oil theft has become so commonplace in part because of Mexico's joblessness and poverty that forces some otherwise honest people to steal oil to survive. Almost half of Mexico's 120 million citizens live below the poverty line. Among them, for example, these families outside Reynosa, sifting through garbage and collecting junk to recycle and resell on the street. Poverty here that has created a willingness at times among many citizens, as well as with many of Mexico's police officers, to look the other way when oil thieves strike, or to in fact join them in stealing oil. And not just stealing oil from Pemex, but gasoline from Pemex refineries. Like this guy who says he has friends who work at a Pemex refinery who routinely steal gas and sell it to him, after which he then sells it from the back of his truck in local villages. Federal authorities recently arrested a gang of what they describe as gasoline thieves, most of them Pemex workers, who were driving tanker trucks, they say, full of gasoline from refineries and reselling it on the streets, profiting upwards of $25,000 a day, working with men like this guy selling it for half the cost Mexicans would pay at the pump.
Y existe corrupción precisamente por la extrema pobreza que hay, porque no les dan ética profesional, no les inculcan que la policía está para servir, para ayudar, para proteger, y para eso está hecho.
Still, there are residents in San Juan who say poverty is no excuse for helping criminals steal oil. Among them, these two longtime San Juan residents, Jose and Mercedes.
Creo que no hay razón para eso, porque sí está la cosa triste, difícil, pero sí hay trabajo. Sí hay trabajo acá honrado que puedes hacer para sobrevivir, para comer.
There is work for the moment for Jose and Mercedes as overnight guards at the breached oil site. Jobs that wouldn't exist, they admit, had oil thieves not been operating here and caused this leak. Ultimately, Mexican authorities believe they may be slowing down oil thieves, particularly with some major arrests made in recent months, including one of the Zetas' top bosses, Fernando Martinez Magaña, near Monterrey. And the Mexican government says Pemex has been doing its part to combat oil theft, by helping train federal police officers how to better identify clandestine oil taps and preserve oil theft-related evidence at crime scenes, all in an attempt to track down and arrest more oil thieves. Their presence threatening foreign energy companies projecting to create thousands of legal jobs extracting Mexico's newest fuel source, shale gas. And there is concern criminals here will eventually start attempting to steal shale gas too. A nightmare scenario, say authorities, underscored by images of recent explosions like this one accidentally triggered at a natural gas facility in Mexico. However, for the time being, Mexico's oil thieves seem content stealing mainly black gold. Whether it's Pemex employees stealing oil or the work of heavily armed criminal gangs, they have managed to tap into Mexico's oil pipelines almost 2,500 times already this year alone.